You just mentioned 10 years, you get the microscope and the telescope. And Neil, everyone's always talking about how this is the exponential growth in technology with the internet and the mobile phone and now AI, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But I mean, for that period of time, was that not equally as disruptive technology that changed the culture of the earth?
I would say that birthed, when you combine that with the invention of the microscope telescope, with Galileo's observations, and by the way, Newton was born, within a year of Galileo dying, and so Newton rises up, and by the time he's 26, he discovers laws of optics and gravity, and so this is the beginning of our rise out of magical thinking. It is the beginning of science as a tool to shape our civilization. Because around 1600, Francis Bacon as well would codify what it is to put forth the scientific method. There were versions of it earlier, but around 1600 is when it became widespread, rather than just the writings of one philosopher or another. And when it becomes widespread, and you realize what you can discover with a hypothesis and a test of that hypothesis, and you discard what doesn't work, you keep what does. That was the start. And I will assert, as I've done in many places in the exploration and discovery chapter, where if you cut into the timeline at any moment, people will be between 1600 and today, people will be saying, oh my gosh, technology has so transformed our lives. I have a book, 1898, that was a second edition of that same book written just a few years earlier. It was a book on the sun. Okay. And I said, well, why is there another edition 5 years later? And I read the preface. And he says, advances in our understanding of the sun have come so far in the last 5 years, we needed a new volume. This is amazing, with new telescopes and new ideas and understand. It was like, if you only knew. But what's going on there is that there's an exponential growth of discovery. And when you're on an exponential, everybody thinks all the greatest things happened in their own lifetime, or in just their most recent years that they've had the thought. Everybody will think that, no matter where you cut it. I've got people saying to me, isn't it amazing to be alive to see these images from the James Webb Space Telescope? My gosh, how lucky we are. And I'm saying, that's exactly what people said when Hubble was launched.
Right.
But it's amazing to be alive. Look at it. It's what people said when the Palomar telescope was finally up and running in the late 1940s and early 1950s, the most powerful telescope in the world, getting data on stars and and gas clouds. And we understand how stars are born, live out their lives, and die from those data. Oh my gosh. In the 1920s, Hubble, the man, has the then largest telescope in the world, 1/4 the power of the Palomar one I just described. He used that telescope to show that the Milky Way was not the only galaxy in the universe, and that the universe was expanding. Oh my gosh. Oh, incidentally, that decade, we are the centennial anniversary of that decade right now, was the discovery of quantum physics, which it would take 50 years, but would transform and birth and then transform information technology for us all. So yeah, things change, and they change fast, and they change faster than most people can foresee, because most of the seers into the future are extrapolating, typically linearly extrapolating. Well, we have 5 of these today, in a few years we'll have 10 of them, right? That's very linear thinking. They're not saying, oh, there's some other discovery that's going to come out of left field or right field somewhere else that'll completely disrupt this linear thinking. It's hard, if not impossible, to know that's coming.
Now, culturally, when Galileo writes this book, what happens? Because it's
sorry, that was half of your question. Sorry, I got all carried away.
Oh,
so there was an embedded religious philosophy based on literal reads of the Bible, basically the Jewish Bible, so the Old Testament, where Earth is the center of everything. It's unmoving. Everything else moves around us. And of course, if that's God's word, it's unerring, and there's no latitude for it to be adjusted, and certainly not for it to be wrong. Galileo shows this, and he had a couple of interesting retorts attributed to him. One of them is, the Bible tells you how to go to heaven, not how the heavens go. So I thought that sounds like a lyric from a rap song.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And there's another one, and I will mangle this quote, but I'll get the right sense of it. When people were concerned that he's finding things out that God had not intended or did, he was a religious man. Everyone was religious back then. So he said, he finds it, again, I'm going to mangle this quote. He said, I find it hard to believe that God would endow us with the level of intellect we have and expect us to forego its use because he's applying his brilliance to his cosmic discoveries. And he's showing, no, Earth is not the center. All right. And of course, he was put on trial and then put under house arrest. And he was ordered to recant. And the Catholic Church, I think it was 1992, they reopened his case and then forgave him. So maybe you can count on the church to do the right thing eventually.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, do you want to profit from crypto? Then join my DeFi Academy. The Crypto DeFi Academy will help you create generational wealth. But don't take my word for it. Listen to my students.
When I first got into crypto, I remember thinking to myself, I need to learn more. Brian Rose, learning crypto, learning DeFi, gotta do it.
I am so grateful that I jumped in and did this. I had to break through some limiting beliefs that I can do this, that I can afford this, that I can be in this.
It challenges the things that are deeply rooted within us.
Joining DeFi Academy has been one of the best decisions I have made on my blockchain journey.
This course was a life changer, a game changer, a huge eye-opener, coming from knowing practically nothing at the speed of the learning over 4 weeks was just fantastic.
The information you provided in this class was invaluable.
I feel far more confident in my next steps.
You took complex concepts and made them easier to understand.
What's different than so many other ones is it just doesn't tell you what to do. It actually makes you do it.
This is for people who are serious about becoming traders. This is the way it should be done.
I realized from this learning experience again that it is not about what you learn, but about who you learn it from.
The energy was insane. I've never experienced such incredible energy on a live call. Brian Rose, you are a legend, my friend.
It's the only thing in the market where you can get all information and learn everything what you need to know.
Everything is so clear and so well done, and I am just forever grateful for this program.
It made me feel so much more confident about crypto than I did before.
I did not anticipate how passionate I was going to become about it.
It's also been like a big learning experience for me, not just in the crypto space, but just an overall balance of life.
What I've learned is, how to take ownership, of my life in a way that I really hadn't before.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that, really.
I would recommend it to anybody, top notch.
Excellence does not come cheap. So if you want excellence, you gotta pay for it, but it's so worth it.
Pull the trigger. That's what this course is about.
You're not going to regret it, really. It's amazing.
Thank you, Brian and team.
So what are you waiting for? Crypto is happening now. Click the link below, submit your application, and let me mentor you on how to create generational wealth and build the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future.